With Nebraska voters passing Initiative 430, it allows Horseman's Park, located near 72nd and L Street, to plan for casino renovations in the near future. Good afternoon, I'm Jimmy Carroll.
And I'm Wyatt Weskowiak. Coming up, we will look at how Omaha Public Libraries proposed a resolution to encourage residents to utilize all 12 locations throughout the city. All this and more on the Omaha News.
From the studios of UNO Television, this is the Omaha News, presented by UNO School of Communication.
Clinical trial results of Pfizer and BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine showed its success is 100% efficient in children ages 12 to 15. The two companies plan to submit the data to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration as soon as possible for an expanded emergency use authorization of the vaccine. In a phase 3 trial of over 2,000 participants ages 12 to 15 in the U.S., the vaccine elicited strong antibody responses 1 month after the second dosage. The vaccine is currently authorized in the U.S. for emergency use in people ages 16 and older. Casinos in Council Bluffs will be getting competition from Nebraska very soon. Jessica Salinas has more with the story.
Nebraska voters passed Initiative 430 authorizing gambling in racetracks back in November. Horseman's Park has been waiting for this moment for several years. Now they are one step closer to seeing their vision coming true.
They're first-class entertainment venues that our the state can be proud of and show off and compete economically with our neighbors.
Horseman's Park will be getting a major change. President of Omaha Exposition and Racing, Bob Mosier, is hopeful that this summer we might see some form of temporary gaming operation.
The existing building, we're hoping, can be remodeled and open with some form of gaming inside it around February of next year.
As of right now, they have not started any renovations, but once they do, Horseman's Park will have a new look and new name. Warhorse Casino is what it's going to be named. Renovations are said to cost around $2 million. Ronald Miller is a regular at Horseman's Park and has been coming there since they first opened their doors in 1998. He shared his reactions when he heard that the casino is going to be there.
Yeah, but you know, I'm 72 years old and I ain't gonna be around long enough for this casino.
With the Omaha News, I'm Jessica Salinas.
Warhorse Casino doesn't have a set date for the grand opening.
Rental assistance, according to City of Omaha Mayor Gene Stothard, secured over $2 million for the U.S. Treasury Office. The money will be used to provide rental and utility assistance for eligible applications, including renters and landlords. At this time, the program's funds will not be used for mortgage assistance. The city expects to be able to provide assistance for 12,000 renters with the program, which will be administered by the Metro Area Continuum of Care for the Homeless. The registration portal is expected to open for the Douglas County residents Monday, April 5th at macchconnect.org. The Omaha Public Library Foundation recently proposed a new way of dealing with late fees. Reporter Bree Smith with the details on the story.
Public libraries typically follow a very standard practice. You check materials out and return them by a certain date. If you miss the deadline, you pay a fee. While the fee might range anywhere from a dime to $1, more public libraries are doing away with overdue fines altogether. On March 18th, the Omaha Public Library Board of Trustees voted to do just that. The board unanimously passed a resolution which would eliminate late fees on all books and other materials borrowed from Omaha libraries. Omaha Public Library's Assistant Director, Rachel Steiner, says eliminating overdue fees would only be expanding on what the library system has been doing.
So we've always not charged that for the kids, using kids' materials. So this really is taking the whole system into consideration.
While Steiner says the hope of this new policy is to draw more people into the library, some patrons aren't so sure this will be a good idea.
I think it's kind of a deterrent for people if they know they owe something, that they should get those books back to the library.
In a recent news release, Director Laura Marlane said that in the past, overdue fines have only accounted for a fraction of the library's budget, so they're not concerned about this having any negative effects. Steiner says that if this resolution is passed, not only would it eliminate any future overdue fees, but it would also waive patrons' outstanding fees that exist now.
Our director is proposing we do away with all of those and start everyone with a clean slate.
Steiner says that under the new resolution, fines will not be waived in the case of lost or missing items, which is a rule applied if an item is more than 3 weeks overdue. For the Omaha News, I'm Bree Smith.
The resolution is not scheduled to come before the City Council until mid-April, so late fees are still in effect until then.
The City of Omaha continues to improve thanks to the community support of new tech startups. However, it takes years of support from the community and an accelerator to help get them off the ground. InMotion Managing Director Scott Henderson's job is to help founders conceive and launch new companies. They also help founders grow by connecting them with mentors and investors. The amount of tech startups in Nebraska has grown due to the help of accelerators like InMotion in Lincoln and the Startup Collaborative located in the Greater Omaha Chamber.
Building whatever they have, because we know we're crazy. We know that we're taking on the status quo, and it's always great to know where your friends are and where your people are.
Henderson calls the industry an action sport and says getting involved is a must for entrepreneurs. He says that telling people you are starting a business and not hiding it is the key because it allows them to get assistance. InMotion was started in 2013 and has helped 52 companies accelerate their growth, and they hope to keep that number rising.
Coming up, all the world's sandhill cranes are making a stop in the Midwest Prairie before finishing their migration back home to the Northern Hemisphere. Next, we look at how 3 businesses and the Omaha Public Schools Foundation are teaming up to provide dresses for young women on their big night. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
There's a unique educational experience right here in Omaha. With access to top-rated programs, in-demand degrees, and a worldwide community of graduates, UNO prepares students for life, wherever it may lead. From Omaha to Italy to Uganda to Japan, Mavericks are working in communities around the globe. So where will a degree from UNO take you? UNO, access to exceptional, access to the world. Learn more at unomaha.edu.
Benson, where creativity is our culture. Benson's lively atmosphere offers a unique experience. Come enjoy great live music, enjoy a variety of bars, get amazing food from local restaurants, and shop at local businesses. Whatever you do, you won't be disappointed with your experience. Learn more at experiencebenson.com.
You know, I'd always pretend to call the game, and it's like it was a lifelong dream of mine, and now that I'm starting to fulfill that dream, it's been awesome.
With the UNO School of Communication, your dream begins today.
Unbelievable experience. I'm extremely grateful that I get to do it.
And it is so exciting to see what they can do and what they want to do.
What can you say about your Maverick team?
The deadline is now.
This is the Omaha News.
Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds' announcement that April will be Meat on the Table Month follows Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts' declaration of March 20th as Meat on the Menu Day. Meat helps drive the Nebraska economy and is home to nationally known Omaha steaks. Local restaurant Don & Millie's relies on the meat industry to bring in profit, as they can go through as many as 200 patties a day. Kitchen employee Greg Garrow says Ricketts' promotion of meat helps keep their business.
I think it's great. It gives job security. think when it's always busy, it's just job security. I know I'm going to get paid.
Ricketts' decision came one day after Colorado proclaimed March 20th as Meat Out Day, encouraging people to try a vegetarian-style diet. Ricketts said this practice undermines food security in the state. Modern Love, a vegetarian restaurant, criticized Ricketts' proclamation since beef farmers are subsidized, whereas vegetable farmers rely on volunteers to get by. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many students had to miss traditional festivities last prom season. This year, people still find themselves struggling financially. Omaha Public Schools have put a plan in place to help students dress to impress for prom this season. Reporter Larissa Leone tells us more.
Omaha Public School Districts and Maxi Walker are coming together to provide and accept prom dress donations for students across the metro.
So we're asking for new or gently used dresses. Could be any size. That's the great thing, is that, you know, Dr. Logan decided that there would be kind of a fun shopping opportunity for people who want to dress.
With the cost of prom dresses rising in the hundreds, Omaha Public Schools has found a way for Omaha students to score up dress for free.
Alumni Kyla Collins shares that the Say Yes to the Prom Dress donation drive taking place from now until April 9th would have assisted her past prom experiences.
It took me a while to save up enough money to even buy my prom dress. So having that opportunity to get it like donated to you would help me immensely, because it would like lift the financial burden that I had on myself.
OPS found there are 2,021 students in need of a prom dress. You can find the donation location inside the lobby of the Teacher Administration Center between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Students hoping to attend the Say Yes to the Dress donation drive must pre-register for this event due to COVID-19 protocols.
Omaha Public Schools Superintendent Cheryl Logan says that this year we want the community to join us in helping create a particularly memorable experience for our high school juniors and seniors. As spring starts to bloom, Nebraska is seeing a lot of feathered visitors from the south. Reporter Jared Barton joins us live in studio to tell us more on the annual sandhill crane migration.
On their 2,000-mile trip home for the spring, Sandhill cranes on their 2,000-mile trip home for the spring choose Nebraska as a pit stop to refuel and socialize, and have been doing so since the Ice Age. Nebraska is the only state in which they stop in these numbers and has actually passed no crane hunting legislation due to the population density in the state. From mid-February to mid-April every year, Nebraska sees a swath of sandhill cranes making a brief stop in the middle of the state. The birds, migrating back to their northern nesting grounds in Canada, Alaska, and parts of Siberia, from the southern U.S. and Mexico, stick around in the heartland to take a break and prepare for the upcoming spring and early mating season. Josh Wiese, habitat ecologist at the Crane Trust in Wood River, Nebraska, says their migration pattern almost perfectly funnels into Nebraska as a place for them to meet before mating season.
It's a little nuanced because really birds are arriving at different times and in different reaches of the river. So at the Crane Trust, on the eastern half of their migration, they are showing up early and they're leaving early, right?
Wiese also says most of the cranes feed during the day and nest at night at the Crane Trust. On the sandbars of the Big Bend River, they can better see and avoid predators in low light. Here on the Platte River, nature enthusiasts can best see the birds before dawn or after dusk. Bill Tadikin from the Rose Sanctuary in Kearney, Nebraska, says the best place to see them after dawn and before dusk is along the South River Road, just off exit 305 on I-80.
To see the birds on the river on your own, there's only a couple of public places to do that. One at the Alda Road, one at the Gibbon Road, and one at the Fort Kearney State Recreation Area.
The cranes will be here for a few more weeks, so if you're lucky, you can spot them off the side of the road along rural gravel routes. Local law enforcement ask that when watching the cranes, you don't pull off to the side of or park on paved roads or highways, as it presents a hazard for other drivers. Several locations in the middle of the state, like the Rose Sanctuary and the Crane Trust, offer tours, online programs, photo programs, and smaller birding blinds for those who wish to see the sandhill cranes when they roost on the sandbars overnight. Jimmy, back to you.
There may be hope for wild tiger populations as the Henry Dorley Zoo ramps up progress on its latest endeavor, known as the Tiger Genome Project. Earlier this year, Diesel the tiger was brought in from a zoo in Moscow, Russia, and both the Henry Dorley Zoo and Ashland Safari Zoo have been working together in order to protect this one-of-a-kind tiger. Jason Herrick, one of the lead reproductive scientists at the Henry Dorley Zoo, states how Diesel is the key to finishing research on the Tiger Genome Project. Tiger populations in the wild and in captivity within the United States are declining, since many of the tigers are not within the age range to mate or do not have the ability to reproduce. Herrick also states that they have high hopes to repopulate tiger species around the world, with Diesel in their possession.
Coming up, we look at how Omaha musicians are eagerly waiting to return to the stage and jam out in front of large crowds in the future. Next, we look at how local nonprofit is prepping their farms to host events and inform the public about sustainable agriculture. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Radio isn't what your grandparents told you. It's about discovering facts from the other side of the story. But MavRadio.fm produces talent, people who can take someone's story and bring it to life.
Wind, reel, and print.
Many Omaha organizations have had to close due to COVID-19. Reporter Jack Delperdang has the story of one that has been able to go virtual, but really wants to get back into the community.
Big Muddy Urban Farm is an Omaha organization dedicated to making sustainable agriculture accessible to all. And now that we have hit spring, that means some changes happen around the farm.
We're planting a lot of seeds and getting ready for planting season. It goes 0 to 60 pretty quick. I mean, once the weather turns well, you can work with the soil, and that means it's ready to go.
They provide hands-on learning opportunities for urban residents as well as some farm tours, but those have been impacted by the coronavirus.
Not being able to host events, a lot of what we do is educational, and that requires hosting the events, and that kind of went by the wayside, but we went to virtual platforms and made some unlikely partnerships and really carried through.
With the vaccine soon being available to all, their hope is to get back to doing those things in person and on the farm very soon. Recently, they have started working with UNO classes in service learning opportunities to get more people interested in learning about the farm, which can be a unique experience.
And I'm also really into like environmental sustainability. So obviously they're into farming and like educating people about how to farm better and everything. So I was excited for it.
For the Omaha News, I'm Jack Delperdang.
Big Muddy Urban Farm does not have a set date for their in-person activities to restart, but hope that day comes very soon.
As vaccines are distributed, many people are anxious to return to live concerts. In a nationwide address earlier this month, President Biden said his goal was to allow people across the country to be able to gather by Independence Day. Reporter Adam Ortega speaks with musicians in the industry who can't wait to perform live again.
The pandemic has just about every musician wondering when they'll be able to perform live again. Parks Bradfield is an indie artist in the Metro who can't wait for the next sound check.
And I've been really slow on releasing music the past couple months because I've been focusing on, a live show with a band.
President Joe Biden said this week that America will have enough COVID-19 vaccines for every adult by the end of May, leaving performers like Brendan eager to return to the stage.
Definitely super excited. That's what I'm looking forward to most, above releasing music or anything.
I'm live in the studio of Parks Bradfield, where he's been recording music for the last year and a half. Now, being inside all the time because of the coronavirus has definitely put a strain on the creative process. Luckily, we still have been jamming though.
Brendan is signed to Spaceless Records. Blake David is CEO and the founder of the local label. He says the comeback is always stronger than the setback.
Musicians locked themselves up in their basement and learned more theory and wrote more music and had the time to do this because they're all staying from home.
With vaccinations slowly rolling out, it's projected most citizens will not be able to get the shot until at least the summer. Blake says not to give up hope just yet.
I believe that we will have a boom or even a renaissance of music all across the world.
For the Omaha News, I'm Adam Ortega.
The Center for Disease Control does not have a limit recommend a specific number of attendees for concerts. Instead, they encourage event organizers to focus on ways to limit people's contact with each other.
Coming up, a local cafe treats guests with more than just food and coffee, but offers people to interact with furry friends. Next, with Easter this weekend and spring season right around the corner, one Omaha local is using her baking skills to sweeten up her own small business. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Get your next adventure and travel the world at Omaha's award-winning Henry Dorley Zoo.
I never thought I'd be standing in the clouds looking down on the ancient ruins of the Incan Empire. I never thought I'd live among the street artists in Valparaiso. I never thought I'd make friends that would last a lifetime.
Adventure's out there, and as Mavericks, it's up to us to find it.
Stop thinking, start doing. Visit educationabroad.unomaha.edu.
Dundee, home to Warren Buffett, it's located west of Midtown Omaha, Nebraska. It's a place in Omaha where neighbors can work, eat, relax, and live it up, all within a few blocks. Come visit the neighborhood and see what Dundee has to offer.
Milk chocolate salted caramel, lemon meringue pie, and dark chocolate cherry almond are all some of the chocolate concoctions being handmade by a local pastry chef. Reporter R.C. Miller takes us into the kitchen.
With spring in the air and Easter just around the corner, people like Lindy Pearson is putting her confectionery skills to use by providing a sweet service to the people of Omaha.
This is something new for me. Last year my first box was for Mother's Day, so I just really wanted to test myself on other holidays where I know people are buying confectionery items. So this year I'm doing an Easter box with 4 different flavors. It'll be 2 milk chocolate, 1 white, and 1 dark.
With many small businesses struggling right now, finding niches and trends in the market and capitalizing on them, such as holiday treats, could be a savvy business move. According to marketingcharts.com, Easter surpasses Valentine's Day in the amount of chocolate sold in the United States every year, with 120 million pounds, which equals about $500 million in just the week leading up to the holiday. Lindy hopes she'll be able to work with places like the nonprofit No More Empty Pots to find a more permanent home for her work, where she'll be able to start her online store and offer her chocolates across the country. But she still expects to face a lot of difficulties along the way.
Is adding on a lease lease in addition to your own lease is going to be a challenge. But equipment-wise, I have a lot of what I'm using at home will be overlapping to start, but definitely just those startup costs.
With confection experts like Lindy, Omahans can expect a happy and sweet Easter. For the Omaha News, I'm R.C. Miller.
Lindy currently uses Facebook to advertise her products, but is working on creating a website where customers could order chocolate and other goods directly.
With Easter upon us, it is another time of year for family gatherings. Despite COVID-19 restrictions still ongoing, some rules are changing for the holidays. The CDC recommends celebrating Easter by eating traditional meals with those who you live with, practicing religious holiday customs at home, preparing and delivering meals to neighbors, as well as attending religious ceremonies virtually. While residents are still advised to not gather during the holidays, health experts agreed to a new rule which could allow people to gather as long as they have received the vaccine.
Felius Cat Cafe, located on 24th Street, opened their doors in September of 2018. Since then, they have adopted out over 400 rescue cats and kittens with no signs of slowing down. Meet Tootsie, one of many cats that has made a temporary home at Felius Cat Cafe, a first in Nebraska where patrons can order from their full-service coffee bar and spend time in their kitten adoption room. Before Tootsie arrived at Felius, she was fostered by Amanda Gadero, a volunteer at the shelter.
This is a really special experience because you get to interact with the cats and see their personalities. But what people don't see behind the scenes is every one of these cats has been in foster. We have dealt with all sorts of health problems. We stay awake at night making sure they're okay, we make sure they're vetted. So each cat has been loved by a foster.
As a nonprofit, Felius requires an application, personal references, and a virtual home visit for potential adoption, says the shelter manager Jessica Hoyne.
It's a little more detailed than some places are, but it really ensures that the cats in our care are going to their perfect home.
Felius Cat Cafe had to shut down for 112 days due to the pandemic. With the help of foster homes and volunteers, they were able to adopt out 50 rescue cats during that time. Gadero had a long-term foster cat for 6 months at her home during the shutdown.
And I had to have a potential adopter to meet her in my home, which was hard. We followed a lot of protocols. I had an antibiotic at the door, people took off their shoes, and tried to keep myself as safe as possible, as well as the folks who came.
Felius also has a trap neuter release program where volunteers are trained to capture feral cats, spay and neuter them, and then release them back to their colony. There is an expectation that there will be a high number of kittens this spring due to many spay and neuter centers having to close last year.
Join us next week for more exciting stories in your community.
Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at UNO, the Omaha News, or find our website for even more news and stories at the unomahanews.com.
From all of us here at UNO Television, thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
For me, it's about understanding the process of communication and what we learn through that process.
So something that you'll find within the School of Communication graduate program is that there is such a rich field of expertise.
I can think of no other discipline where we spend so much time focusing on not just one side of the conversation, but all sides of the conversation.
Not only do you get to work closely with other graduate students that come from all different walks of life, but you get to learn from graduate faculty that take those perspectives and help you grow yourself in a way that teaches you to be an academic, but also lets you be you in a really unique way.
I chose UNL very specifically, not just because I live here, I'm proud to represent here, but because I thought their program offered strengths that I didn't see in other programs.